Right, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us again. Today we have a product introduction on our thermal side. So we're going to go through all the new little features and new things that's coming out. Very excited, very good news. So a lot of interesting knowledge, not just from a product introduction, but also from a normal point of view of how cool the product is. It's really cool. Right, so I'm going to get cracking, get started in it. So yeah. Okay, where's my little laser? So we're going to be discussing the family of the thermostat. So this is under our HIK Micro. So this is a specific company inside Hikvision that specialize in the thermostat and the thermography of things. So normal thermals are fine, but if you really go into detail with the thermography of things, then things get really interesting and really cool and very technical, very, very interesting and very technical. We had a gentleman with us, Dino, that used to work with a company that's a thermographer. What a guy, what a genius when it comes to the thermography of things. I really take my hat off for him. He's unfortunately has left the company for personal reasons and has relocated from Joburg to Cape Town. And we wish him all the blessings and all the luck that side, and can't wait to see him again. So anyway, so we're going to jump right into it. So first of all is our HIK Pro. It's our entry level base, if you want to put it that way, our normal thermal cameras. So a lot of you are familiar with it. We have normal solutions for households and things like that. That is general use of using the VCA function itself, so you can draw to see if there was any human beings or anything like that. Obviously, with the thermography, it has that analytics is the same as what our AccuSense have. So you have intrusion, you have line drawings that you can pull up, but not just with that. It's obviously a bit more accurate regarding human beings itself. So, and you have a further distance with a thermo compared to a normal AccuSense bullet. Then we also have the more advanced range for fire prevention and fire detection, stuff like that. So that's more the thermography side of things. And then we have also our presence detection. So we're going to go into detail about the presence detection. There's two different models. They are really cool, especially when it comes to sensitive areas. So we'll just definitely discuss that as well. So that's our bi-spectrum. So that means basically you have a camera and you have a thermo in one. So you got the two little lenses there. So, but we'll go into detail with that. And then we have our medium range. That's more for single lens for different reasons, for different companies, for different businesses. So each application is different. And then obviously we have our long range. So if you have maybe a borderline, or maybe you have a national park or something like that, where you got some kudus and some springboks and stuff like that, the biltong stuff, you know, kudus, biltong. You can use this on the fence line, so you have like quite a distance. Certain models, it depends on the models itself, but normal use, they would use this for like 1.5 kilometer, and then they'll put up the next one and so on and so on, and it will detect any human beings, as you can see here. So it depends on whatever the model is that you're going for. And then we have our boat surveillance type of things. So we're going to go into detail. That's a very impressive little toys there, and very expensive, but really cool toys. All right. So let's go to the next one. Come on. There we go. So new product updates. This is awesome. So if you are familiar with our thermostat, you'll see that we definitely have the upgrade versions now. So our presence detection is what's coming now. We actually got one of them at the office, and I'm actually just about to start playing with them and seeing how I can integrate it with multiple different ways. So the nice thing is there's two different models, from a 100-degree to a 90-degree angle. This one mounts on top of a ceiling, and this one mounts on the wall, or even a ceiling if you wanted to, and you can direct it into a different angle that you need it. The nice thing is it's specially designed for like bathroom use, or living areas, or whatever the case is, for sensitive areas where you don't want to see the picture of the person, but you just want to see that there is a human, and it will detect it. So people ask me, why bathroom? I think it's a very sensitive subject in our country. There's certain staff that will join a company and they will get to the office, they will clock in, and then they go sit for 5, 6, 7 hours in the bathroom on Facebook or TikTok or whatever the case is. So they're not working, but they're getting paid and they're in the bathroom. So, you know, presence detection, especially when you go towards the door, you can put up scheduled times and stuff like that. So very nice, very good toy. So there's multiple ways of using this presence detector. It's Wi-Fi enabled, so you just need to run your power to it, normal power, and then obviously mount it in that area and you connect it through the Wi-Fi, so you don't have to run a network cable if you need be, but network would be obviously better. All right. Then just as I mentioned, so not just that, also for boardrooms and stuff like that, very helpful. There's a nice few medical reasons why this is. So as an example, as you can see, yeah, there's different ways of using it. So it's got that way of detecting if a person falls down. It's got that way of saying that, you know what, in the specific room where the person is maybe somebody that was Alzheimer's or something, they can't remember where they are or whatever the case is. If they leave the room and they're not back in the room in a certain time period, it will alert the operator or the person that's in charge of that medical section. So there's quite a lot more that this sensor can do for big ATM banks itself. Instead of just seeing who's in the bank because it's a sensitive area, you don't want actual video footage, but then the presence detector would be able to say, you know what, there's people in the vault. So there's multiple ways that we could use this. Very nice little product. Then we get to our HIK Pro. This is our 2.2 series. This is the new models itself, upgraded version. So everything is the same. The only difference is they've added in the thermography side of things now as well. So there's a bit more additional tools towards it. Very importantly, if you are familiar with the old ones, you'll know that there's a 8-degree plus or minus that it's maximum out on. So that basically means that if the thermo camera is looking, the HIK Pro is looking at a specific object within the range of 20 to 550 Celsius, then basically it will be 8 degrees plus or minus. So it's not 100% accurate, it's not on the money, but it's there. So 8 degrees sounds like a lot, but actually it's not that much. But if you are focusing on the more budget side, but you still want to use the same system, then this gives you the capability, and now it's got a plus and minus 2-degree difference, so a 2% difference, so which is amazing. So you have more of accuracy. So my recommendation would be anything to do with a, let's say, electrical motor as an example. You can have the camera or any machinery that has a certain temperature and you worry that maybe it will burn out or it will exceed that temperature, and then obviously there's going to be damage. You'll have the camera facing that area, so you have surveillance for that area, and you have the thermography side of the HIK Pro looking at that object or that motor as example. So as soon as the motor basically exceeds the heat, it means it's overheating. It will send an alarm notification. Obviously you need to set up all these things in the normal web browser or the normal ways of setting up everything, but it gives you that capability. So if the temperature drops, it means the device went off, so it's dead or whatever the case is. Again, being proactive, using one single camera for 2 usage, 2 multiple functions, which is just amazing. So a lot of money that can go into this. It will save a lot of money, less downtime, etc., etc. All right. We also have it in our speed domes itself, our PTZs. So this is the specific PTZ model that we are looking at, which is pretty amazing. New technology, basically additional things that's going, same models, but just obviously upgraded versions, which is just amazing. So PTZ, so you've got quite a bit to do, be able to detect human and vehicle classification under 80 meters, which is pretty awesome. All right. Then we've got them now in our solar range. So this is pretty awesome. I really like this. Very similar to our advanced series solar camera setup. So exactly the same panel, same battery operation, everything. The only difference is the camera that's on top of it is our HIK Pro camera. Obviously, it's been redesigned inside the camera itself, so the wattage and the voltage is a little bit lower. The small little technical things has been changed inside it, but you still get the same analytics and the same way of using it as our normal HIK Pro, which is pretty amazing. But now it's solo, so it's wireless. You can also put in the SD card underneath it. You can also put the SIM card underneath it, and you have the same capability as all the other solo ones as normal. So, which is pretty amazing, very nice unit, and it comes with a nice beefy bracket as well. So good for, especially for if you have a construction business and maybe there's a TLB that's on site and there's no way to really look after it. Even if you put a security guard there, there might be a security guard that is sleeping on duty. They call it praying. No, sir, I wasn't sleeping, I was praying. But anyway, so then you can use this, put it up to a pole, look at the excavator or the crane or the TLB, draw your lines or draw your intrusion areas as well. And then as soon as there's any human being, it will notify the operator, which can yell at the security guard to wake up. There's somebody busy trying to steal the batteries, as an example. So very good product, really easy to use, and definitely worth it. All right. So next one. So different applications where you would use this, from farming areas to events to pipelines for, but like I said, it's more for not a permanent use. If it is a permanent use, obviously you can have it up, but my recommendation would be perfect for mobile type of situations or temporary situations, which is perfect. All right. I'm not going to go too much into detail further with that. Then we have our bullet camera range itself. So this is our normal thermal side of things. So again, being upgraded with the new different software, new ways of doing things. Very plus point, anti-corrosion. So yeah, for those guys that's living in Durban, in Cape Town, you can basically use these cameras. They are pretty awesome. So there's no need to swap them out on a regular basis every year or so, because now they've been corroded and stuff like that because of that salt environment. This is obviously perfect for that type of applications. And it's very nice as our normal thermal side, but now you have the single lens, or you have the biospectrum lens where you have the camera and you have the thermo inside. So this is an actual proper, so it's not the HIK Pro, it's the one above the HIK Pro, a little bit better. Right. Then we have them also in our smart linkage. So this is also a very nice setup. So you have a normal thermal camera on top, and it will look at the environment of where your line is. So let's say you have maybe a complex area and you want to make sure that there's nobody jumping over the fence trying to break into the complex. This camera will face that line of the fence itself, and then your PTZ will do the patrols. It will patrol everywhere where you need to patrol it, where you set the presets. And if the thermal camera picks up a human being, the PTZ will leave its patrol and automatically go straight to that area of where the person is and start tracking and following them, which is pretty amazing. So very nice. Again, also you can change out this PTZ with maybe a bigger one if you need be. You can also change the bullet itself on top to a bigger model if you need be, or different type of thermo bigger model. So it's just a bracket basically you can look at, but it gives you that capability already having the entire kit and having that smart link. So it's obviously two separate cameras. So it's not like our tandem view PTZ, which is pretty cool as well, the future of PTZ, but this gives you the capability. And again, anti-corrosion. So yeah, very nice. All right. Then we got our thermography side of things. So there is a difference between the thermo and thermography. Thermography gives us more capabilities of looking at different levels of heat and different ways of projecting the heat and projecting, making sure that we can see more details, see more applications, and have different ways of doing it. So if you want to focus more on the electrical side, there's a different thermography for electric. If you want to look at maybe the heat of a specific motor, there's a different thermography. If you want to look at maybe temperature screening of people's temperature for COVID, there's a different thermography. So it needs to be set up, but it gives you that capability. Again, also the thermography as normal, as what we all are used to, the 2 to about 2% itself. So it gives you that capability, but there's so much more that the thermography can do for any business. And then obviously, if you want to go into the thermography side of things, I'm sorry, I'm repeating the thermography the whole time. It's really epic. If you really go into the training side of things, we do offer that as well. And there's a lot of information. And once you start realizing what is possible, it starts opening up doors more. In future, we will also have a webinar regarding just the thermography of things. All right. So there's different type of palettes that we are using, from black and white to, white and gray and black. And then you have like the rainbow colors, and then you have different other colors that you are using, the normal green and whitish type of color. So there's different applications for different reasons. All right. Then we also have them in our thermo speed domes, so with the little wiper. So it's a single wipe. So if anybody wanted to know, so it does have that smart wiping effect. So once they detect water, like on the modern vehicles, your wipers will come automatically. The same will go here. It has that smart wiper built into it, and it will do that wipe. And if it detects more water, it will wipe again. So keep that in mind. I think it's a pretty awesome little way of controlling that kind of thing. So we do have that again in the thermo side and the lens side. So you've got a nice little picture, an overview of the area, and you also have the thermography side of things of the thermo, so which is pretty great. Okay, moving along. Then we've got for the mining industry and the industrial industry, we've got our explosive, anti-explosive cameras itself. So these are designed in 2 different ways itself. So very nice. So it's anti-explosive. So what it basically means is there's certain environment where there's gases and stuff like that, which is sensitive. So you can't take your phone there, you can't take your laptop. Also, no. Somebody did ask me, can I take my Arduino? No, you can't. You can't take your PS. You can't take anything like that at all. Yeah. So this gives you that capability of installing it into a sensitive area, but not just that, it can also handle an explosion next to it or close to it. There is a different way of calculating what the explosion is, but I think most people that work with that would understand that kind of setup, right? Then we also have our anti-corrosion on it as well, so it's perfect for salt environment and heavy environment like mining itself, which is a very great product, really easy to use. And a lot of the guys are familiar with it, but obviously it's got the brand new analytics as well pulled into it. Not just that, there's also a lot of health and safety side of it. So the camera's analytics itself can also determine if it's looking at an area and there's people working, it will see the people. And not just that, if a staff member will take off his hard hat and put it down on the ground, the camera will notify the operator to say that there's, somebody's not wearing their safety gear. Please have a look at that. Right. So, but that's also something that we're going to be looking at in the future, especially for the industrial mining side of things. Not just that, the perfect thing is I don't have a slide on that. I wish I did have a little picture of that just showcasing. There's a picture that I did find, and I can't find it now, but where they are looking at fuel containers for an industrial side, where it will actually, the thermo camera looks at the fuel containers, and you can actually see the level of what container is at what level for fuel, which is pretty amazing without opening it, without checking. Like certain fuel stations, obviously you're not going to put it in underground, but there's certain fuel stations that will go to a certain big container, and they put that wooden stick in with a measuring thing on it, and they will try and see what the level is of the fuel so they can see how much they've got left. This is perfect, especially for like containers. So if you can't see inside the containers, the thermo can see the level of the heat of what inside the thermography of how the level is. So pretty awesome. And again, like I said, for mining areas, perfect. Right, moving along. We also have them in the thermography side, so that's more for bigger use bigger areas. So like I said, that gives you the capability of using that as well. Also the anti-corrosion, it's a heavy duty explosion camera, so anti-explosion camera. So it's perfect for heavy duty environments, which I'm going to show now where the heavy duty environments come to. So all rigs, perfect. They sometimes have that flames that's coming off it. So if you have a camera, it's perfect. If any person has stood in an area like that, you can actually feel the heat. Why is everything going slow? Everything is going slow. Anyway, the heat area, like I said, for oil containers itself on maybe train tracks, pipelines, any heavy industrial area, this is perfect applications. And I really wish I could show you the video of how it would look like at night or during the day at the thermography side of things. It's really awesome, but we are going to touch on that on the technical side very soon. Okay, then the big boys. This is our military spec stuff. This stuff is insane, right? So this is our spear models. So there is 3 different ranges on this. So let me discuss this one first quickly. Let me blow your guys' minds. This can detect a vehicle up to 38 kilometers. 38 kilometers. Think about it. That is so far to be able to detect a vehicle. So this is pretty awesome. So it's got the laser as well in it, so you can pinpoint where the location needs to be. They are just, I don't know how to explain how awesome it is. Then we've got the bigger model, which has a cooling system built into it. That cooling liquid needs to be changed every, I think it was 80,000 or something like that hours. You know, so this is more for big shipping yard areas, border areas, long range military type of spec. So the awesome thing about this is basically that if it will look at the area, it's more for night use. So you can put specifications on a timing schedule. So it will only start working from, let's say, 7 o'clock at night until the next morning, 5 o'clock. So it's more, because it's thermo, so it's more for that kind of use itself. So that's where I would basically look at it. And then we also have it in our portable side, especially for boats. This is also pretty awesome, which will go down the line now. So this is the nice one that I was discussing, the distance, which is pretty awesome. A lot of the guys are using it in boat shipping yard areas. This is perfect. Sorry, it has the algorithms also into it. So every application is different, every scenario is different, so where you would put it. But just to know that we do have this is expensive, but it's definitely worth it for any big industrial use of that. So I don't think we're going to use it in our borders in our country, because if they put up a fence on the border in South Africa, the next morning it's missing. So I'm sure a lot of you know that by now. So I think this will replace this. So nobody will be able to see it because it's high up, and definitely you can see the distance of it. So I can't wait for us to get one to play with. I definitely would like to play with it. So a lot of different things, as you can see, different options, different ways of where we can integrate this. So fire prevention, fireproof, this is perfect environment, right? And we will discuss that as now. So this is just a little video. Let me just exit my little thing here. So this is during the daytime. This is at our HQ office, our head office in China. And this is just to showcase how the color would look of the thermo during the day. So it's not just the normal black and white. You've got different shades of gray there, not 50 shades of gray. I mean like different type of gray. So let me play the video and shut up. Sorry. So as you can see, pretty awesome. You can see how the vehicles are moving. So the video is a little bit, you know, it's on a PowerPoint, so excuse that. So they zoom out and you can see the, sorry for the crappy video, guys. It's on a PowerPoint. So it's been pushed into a certain limit. So you're not getting the full quality, but I just wanted you to see the distance as well. And then wait a little until it's focused on the video. There we go. So you can see the quality of how nice that image is during the day, which I think is pretty awesome. All right, moving along. The cooling side of things. It should be somewhere. There we go. 8,000 hours of cooling life. So that cooling needs to be replaced. So if you order this and your company is using it, obviously the installer needs to be certified. Obviously they need different training on this. And then obviously we'll go down that rabbit hole of going through all the detail, all the training regarding that and how to operate and how to service it, and etc. etc. It's got that normal camera. It's also got that wiper on it as well. Not just that, as you can see, 15 kilometers it can detect a human being. 15 kilometers. That's insane. Sorry, that's really insane. Anyway, so definitely awesome for any boat shipping yard area. So I've got a few little videos to play you there as well. Let's hope they don't get stuck. Anti-corrosion on it as well. So different thermography as the lenses, as the different models. So pretty cool. And that cooling just keeps it down. So the cooling comes in towards the thermography side of things, the thermo side of things. So because the thermography and the thermo heats up quite a lot, it needs that special cooling to be able to detect and give you that analytics and more information more accurately. So that's why that is there. Just to go a little bit into detail there. Then we've got them on our mobile side. So especially for boats or ships or big cruise ships, that is perfect to see ahead what is happening. So let's go into the video. Look how stable this thing is. So as you can see, that little boat in the video is moving at quite a few knots, and you can see how stable it is, and obviously how they could use that, especially at nighttime. There's obviously still a lot of issues with the border side of the coastal side of things, so it's difficult for them to see certain things at night, especially if there's a little boat that's going, as you can see maybe in the background there. Let me just play that one a little bit again. So as you can see that little boat in the background, so at nighttime that will be perfect. And you can see that, listen, there's some illegal stuff that's going on. So when it was COVID, some of us were receiving our illegal smokes and that grandpa's cough medicine, you know, through some of the boats, because we were battling during COVID. Thank you, Uncle Cyril. We really liked that time. Anyway, so let's carry on. Right. Move along. Come on. There we go. Right. I think this PowerPoint is too big and it's getting stuck on me. There we go. So, right. Different scenarios, different places where you would use the Heat Pro, especially like nowadays. We don't have a lot of electric vehicles, but if you really go and Google in South Africa, there is quite a different amount of brands that do have electric vehicles. And we all know they have lithium-ion batteries, and we all know that sometimes things go wrong and it might be a kaboom. So for insurance purposes, this is ideal. You can have your thermo camera looking at that environment. Not just that, also low cost. So instead of employing somebody to look after that area to make sure that there's no fire, or there's the stuff doesn't overheat, or whatever the case is, you employ the camera that you pay for. So, and it works 24/7. There's no lunchtime for the camera. There's no tea time. There's no smoke breaks. It's a thermal camera. You shouldn't be smoking. It's going to alarm. Any case, so you can link it to an alarm system as well, to our AX Pro. It's showing hub, but it's actually AX Pro hub itself, the new models. And then obviously take it to the cloud to our HIK Pro Connect for installer to monitor the health side of things. And you can take it to the end user or to their machine, their NVR, or whichever. Any business offices, perfect environment. Yeah, reducing false alarms, eh? It works. Right, so for the solar side of things, obviously we've already went through this. You can obviously know that there's different locations that this can definitely be working. I just want to see something this side. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. So thermosite also, you can have that application up, and then different monitoring companies that can monitor it. So for security purposes, ideal, quick, easy deployment. And then we go to the next one. Come on. Where's my mouse? It's buffering. If anybody can see, it's buffering. There we go. So for warehouses and stuff like that, then we get a little bit of a bigger model. Still normal surveillance and still fire prevention, heat prevention. So very awesome, very nice to use in different locations. So again, being more proactive, especially for insurance purposes, this is ideal. And obviously you can alert by the light or the fire, the siren itself. You can have that also. We do have the IP speakers, so that can also help, and the machine can be alerted, and the operator control room can be alerted. Very straightforward. So forestry, I mentioned this earlier. This is awesome. So as normal, so let's go with this one itself. So normal thermal camera, I don't know if you guys can see, sorry, the picture is really small. You can see that the camera does detect that there is some sort of heat there, but it's kind of difficult to be able to calibrate and set that up for, especially for the bigger models. We've actually got this one on our roof here at the office. It's really a nice camera, but not just that, with the new analytics itself, we can detect smoke. So the camera can see that there is smoke in that environment, and then it will alert the operator to say, listen, there is smoke, we are detecting smoke, so please take note. So if we go to the forestry industry of things, go to the next one, come on. So in a normal forest area, obviously, if you make a little braai there and you got your boerewors and your little pork chop and you're busy braaiing and you're drinking your sterry stumpy, then obviously the camera cannot see through the canopy of the trees and plantation. So it's difficult. But where there's fire, there's smoke. The new analytics now can detect that the smoke, and it will also, if you obviously pull in the map, it will give you the geo mapping of where that is exactly, which is just amazing. So telling the person that's in charge of the fire prevention that this is the location of where the smoke is, and they can go with the GPS directly to that area and tell the guys that's there busy braaiing and fishing that they're not supposed to be braaiing. So yeah, all right, very straightforward, but awesome way, new improvement, right? And then our coastal side of things, again, very similar. There's different ways that we can approach this. There's different ways. So obviously we don't have certain wind power, but you know, you guys obviously understand where this application can, be used. So coastal side is perfect. There's so much more that we can do with the thermography and the thermosite on our coastal side, and we haven't even touched like 10% of it. All right, so here's a little video just to show you guys. These guys put up a little solar panel with one of the thermo cameras, obviously, and then obviously shooting it back with a nano station. So this is, don't ask me where, but anyway, so just to show from a normal camera point of view, and then obviously a boat point of view. So it will detect the boat, and immediately the PTZ will start following that boat as it's going. So the video is a bit stuck there, but we see what I'm trying to explain, and there it goes funky on me. All right, and then if it's fog on any coastal area, if you've gone fishing at any dam, then you know, yeah, about 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you really can't see very far at night or in the early morning hours because of the fog. This gives you that capability of actually seeing through the fog, so anti-fogging, so which is pretty awesome. So obviously in the picture on the right hand side, you can't see the boat, but the camera can see the boat through the fog, which is insane. Like really, that's just epic cool. All right, so next one. Are we done? Come on, there we go. Recycling plants, perfect. Like I mentioned, any vehicle automation side, any motors that are running, this is perfect. Different plastics, different ways of seeing the thermography of things. The thermography we can do a lot with. So there's different applications, different ways. As you can see, like false alarm, if there's forklifts, it now basically ignores forklifts. So before, the thermography side of things would trigger with a forklift, saying that, you know what, because of the heat of the forklift, now it doesn't do that trigger itself. Sunlight would reflect back. Now that sunlight has been reduced, so giving you less of that false alarm applications. Not just that, also with the thermography side of things, we can also change the coloring of what the objects are and alerting to say that, listen, these are following objects in this environment that can be looked at, especially when it comes to recycling on waste. So very smart, much more analytics, much more thermography. So big stuff. All right. Obviously, as we said, from our mobile point of view, so again, you have that where you can put it onto a trailer with the batteries, and you can also have, is my mouse actually pointing? That's a little bit pointing. Let me show my laser. Boom. So obviously battery box there, nice little trailer, solar panel itself, you could put it at a different angle, the pole that you can push out with your nano station maybe, or maybe like picking up different ways. So for different temporary farming events, different constructions, you can also add at different events. So which is perfect for that kind of solution. So any person that does do installations, I would definitely recommend get a second-hand trailer, dismantle it, use the body, do your own setup, set up everything, make sure that it's obviously roadworthy, and then basically rent it out for different events, for different projects. I think it's just insanely possible, like really insane cool. All right. Then also again for our long range stuff, so for borders, for different, like we said, forestry or whatever the case is, I think this is actual little videos that we can play. Is it going to play? Yeah, there you go. So just giving you a little bit of a rough idea for border area, it will pick up the vehicles and start following them. So, which is pretty cool. I think that we could have got a better, oh wait, not yet. There's another one. So this next video is insanely cool, and I've asked my team that we need to look at this, where we would like to take one of the heavy duty thermo sites, so a lens on the thermography side. We want to take a camera to the airport, and I would like to get a better quality of this following video. So as you can see nice and neatly there, can you see my little, you can't really see, but you can see on the plane, you can see the jet engine, and then you can actually see the amount of thrust that's going through that and how it's pushing out. So during the day with a normal naked eye, you can't see that really. You can see a bit of the dust and stuff like that. But this is just insane. And I think it's pretty cool. And I would like to really go with the next level regarding that. Obviously, we're going to need authorizations and stuff like that. And I'm hoping that someone might out there would realize this, that we would like to take this whole matter further. So I think that's pretty epic, just to see how advanced, especially at nighttime. That would be so cool. So that's a pretty cool. And you can actually see, I'm pointing at the screen. Sorry, guys. You can actually see how it's pushing out on the side. I think it's pretty cool. All right. So again, big biospectrum of how our thermography side of things are. Then we've got our long range detection for more for like the security point of view, especially when it comes to drones and stuff like this. This is on a different algorithm through a different company. So you can see that it will detect the drone in that specific area. So let me show you guys. So obviously you have your closed off area, and you want to make sure that everything is nice and safe, and you don't want any drones to go and peek in to see what's happening with that restricted area. It's not area 51, but I think area 51 already are using the specific cameras for this type of application. So at that areas, it will detect itself, and then basically it will detect the human, and then it would say, okay, thank you. No, it won't say thank you. It will detect the area and then obviously alert the operator. So just to show you guys this little video, you can see the drone in the video, and as the camera is tracking, it will track the distance of it. And now the drone is going to be flying away from that area, and then you'll see that the distance of that object will increase. So the camera can detect to say that, listen, it's actually flying away from us. So, which is pretty awesome. Just wait for it now. It's at 300 meters. It's flying up now. Come on, fly away. 400. And so it's carrying on. So this is a different analytic that was designed for a certain company. Don't ask me where. Obviously, where they've got turbines, which we don't have that, yeah. But anyway, 500, and now it's going up, up, and away. And now it's going to go for quite a distance. You guys can still see the video. It's a little bit getting stuck here and there. Sorry, guys. But you're getting the idea. 600. So, and it will carry on. Obviously, now it's at 700. And then it goes to 800. And then 900. So now it's already almost a kilometer away. And the camera can still say that there's the object. So very awesome, very cool. So thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. And I hope that this new range and also the new upgrade versions of the thermo and the thermography side of things. We also have handholds, we've got scopes, we've got binoculars. There's so much more that we have, but yeah, in a later stage, we'll definitely go through all that. So thank you again for joining us. And after this, I'll be asking the questions or asking if you guys have any questions. So there we go.